Hello guys, my name is Balkrishna Srivastava and welcome to Code with BK. So in this video, we write Java codes and solution for question 1 and question 2 of ICSE 2024 Computer Applications Specimen Paper, okay, which is this question, okay. So before we begin, it is a request to please subscribe to my channel, because out of 100 viewers, only one or maybe two are subscribed. The percentage of audience watching my content subscribed is very low. So please, it's a request, please subscribe to my channel. So this is the specimen question paper of ICSE 2024 Computer Applications, okay, Birds paper. I will be solving question 1 and question 2, which are the questions of section A. Section B questions, which are question 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. These are already solved. Each of this question is solved in a separate video. The links to those videos I will paste in the description of this video. The links for the codes I will also add in the description of this video. You can check it out. In this video, we solve questions 1 and 2 of section A. So let's begin. Choose the correct answers to the questions from the given options. Okay, write the correct answers only. So name the feature of the Java directory in the above picture. The answer is going to be inheritance. And this is because you are given the picture of a father and child, and it basically shows that child gets certain features of father just as the subclass gets certain features of the superclass. Okay, so the most appropriate answer here is inheritance. Moving on, the expression which uses greater than equal to operator is called relational operator. Okay, logical operators are and, or, not. Okay, arithmetic is plus minus, assignment is equal to. Okay, then we have ternary operator is a conditional operator. It is definitely not arithmetic and definitely not relational. For a moment you might think it's a logical operator, but there is text that supports that ternary operator is a conditional operator. So this is the original Java docs by Oracle. So if you guys know, Java was invented by Sun Microsystems and later it was bought by Oracle. So Oracle maintains all the documentation, updates Java and takes care of it. Okay, so they have another conditional operator is ternary operator. So ternary operator is a conditional operator. Okay, so let me just quickly tell you how ternary operator works. So it's like a small if else. So if you want to check if an integer k1 say is even or not, you say if k1% 2 equal to 0. Okay, if this condition is true, you print k1 plus is even. Okay, else you print system.out.println k1 is odd. Okay, running this, I get 10 is even. Okay, you can do the same thing in one single statement. You can say string even odd. We use the ternary operator. The first part is the condition. I'll copy the same condition, adding a question mark. This question mark is the part of the syntax. You say even. Okay, if this condition is true, this value is returned to the left hand side, that goes here, else odd. Okay, so I can print this in one single statement, k1 is plus whatever the result is. Okay, and I can comment this out. Okay, so when I run this, I get 10 is even again. I change this to 11, I get k1 is odd. Okay, 11 is odd. This is how ternary operator works. This is a condition and these are the values. The first value is returned if the condition is true. Second value is returned if the condition is false. The type of these values have to be compatible with the left hand side. Since the left hand side variable is a string type, these two also have to be of a string type. If you quickly want another example, I can say int age is say 30. Okay, you can say boolean teenage is, what is the teenage? Age is greater than equal to 13, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and less than equal to 19. Okay, so this condition is true, I want to return true to this variable. Okay, else set this variable to false. Okay, so the type of the values that are being returned should be compatible with the left hand side, so they both have to be boolean. So I print is plus age plus a teenage. Okay, I print teenage. Okay, so for 13 we get true. Okay, if I make this 20, I get false. Okay, so this is how ternary operator works. Moving on, when a primitive data type is converted to corresponding object of its class, it's called boxing. Now even I thought this term was new, right? I thought it would be implicit type conversion, but a more appropriate answer is boxing. because it clearly says that you are wrapping up the primitive data type into corresponding object of his class. So how does this happen? For example, if I have k2 is 20, primitive type int, the corresponding wrapper class is integer, I say k3 is simply k2. Okay, so this by default feels like implicit type conversion, which I should be correct as well, but the more appropriate is going to be boxing, where you are converting this primitive type value into corresponding object. So if you print k3, you get the exact same value of k2, which is 20. Okay, moving on, the number of bytes occupied by a character array of 10 elements. So 20 would be the answer, because each character element occupies 2 bytes, 10 elements, 20 bytes. Okay, moving on, the method of the scanner class that is used to accept a double value is next double. Okay, then we have among the following which is a keyword. Case is a keyword used in switch case. Every, all, each is not there. There is something called a for each loop, but the word each is not used in that. There is a colon used in that. Each is not a keyword. Okay, the next one is the output of mat.round 6.6 plus 3.4. So mat.round will give you the closest round value. So for 6.6 this is going to be 7. Okay, and ceiling will give you the upper value. So for 3.4 it is going to be 4. So 7 plus 4, 11. Okay, let me quickly run this. If I say double d1 is math dot round 6.6 plus math dot ceil, we have 3.4, right? So I say sys out d1. I will also print the variable name. Okay, so d1 should be 11 and it is 11. Okay, now things that you should be knowing about round is that if it is 6.5, it still rounds to 7. It will choose 7 and not 6. So still the answer is going to be 11. If I make this 6.49, the value now is less than 6.5, so it goes to 6. Okay, goes to the left hand side. Okay, so for this it is going to be 6 plus 4, 10 now. So it would be 10. If I make this 4.999999, it is still less than 6.5. Still this is going to be rounded to the left hand side, which is 6, and 6 plus 4 you get 10 again. Okay, all right. And if it is even a bit more than, for example, 001, this comes out to be 7 and 4 you get 11. Okay, all right. For ceiling it's the same. Even if it is 001, ceiling is going to be the next value, which is 4. So 7 plus 4, 11. Okay, even it is 9999, still is going to be 4. 7 plus 4, 11. Okay, moving on, question 1 part 9. Type of error is going to be system.out.print inverted. This is going to be syntax error because there is a semicolon missing. Okay, part 10, statements are fifth element. So indexing in Java happens from index 0. So index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So x4 is going to be a fifth element in the array. Okay, part 11, output of remarkable dot substring 6. So dot substring with an index basically returns the string starting from that index till the end. So index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, index 5, index 6. So starting from A, you go till the end, so you get able. Okay, alright. If you want, we can check this as well. I can say string s1 is remarkable. You can say sys out s1 dot substring starting from index 6. Okay, starts from A, you get able. Okay, you start from 0, you get the entire string. Okay, moving on, part 12 now. Okay, is a wrapper class for type char. We have character class. Okay, name the package that contains wrapper classes. It is java.lang. Java.lang is by default included, so basically you don't have to do import java.lang dot asterisk. Okay, this all the classes in java.lang are by default included, but if you want to check the classes, you do dot. Okay, and you can see this character class, then you can see this integer class, wrapper for integer, then you can see double class. So all wrapper classes are in java.lang. Okay, moving on, constructor overloading for object programming, it is polymorphism. Which of the following is a valid integer constant? 4 is a integer constant, 4.0 is a double constant. Always remember, if you have a value, double value, a value with a decimal point, okay, that is always going to be by default a double constant. To explicitly tell the compiler that my constant is a float, you have to do something like this: append an f, a lowercase f or an uppercase f. I'll just show you. This is a string constant, so only one. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, you can say double d2 is 3.0. You are placing a double constant into a double value valid. So if I print system.out.println d2, okay, you get the value 3. Okay, now if I want to create a float constant, okay, I say 3.4. okay, you see it is that cannot convert from double to float, because by default this is a double value, so you have to set it to f. Okay, append lowercase f or uppercase f. Now that I print this, you say f1 is f1. Okay, so you get 3.4. okay, if I remove this f, this is considered double value. A double value cannot go into a float because the size of double is larger than size of float. A larger type value cannot go into a smaller type value. The vice versa can happen. A smaller size value, a type with a smaller size can go into a type of a bigger size. You can think of this like a box. A smaller box can fit inside a bigger box. A bigger box cannot fit inside a smaller box. Okay, so if I do this, this works. Okay, I get f1 as 3.4. Now again, if I do d2 as f1, this is okay. But if I do f1 as d2, this is not okay. Okay, because you are trying to store a double into a float. All right, just remember, data type with a larger size cannot go into a data type of a smaller size. Okay, all right, moving on, we have part 16. Okay, the method compared to returns when two strings are equal and lowercase. So the answer is 0. Compare to method is a method of the comparable interface, that is out of scope. Compare to method will always return an integer, and it will return 3 possible values: less than 0, equal to 0, and greater than 0. So if two strings are equal, it returns 0. If string A is greater than string B, returns greater than 0. If string A is less than string B, returns less than 0. How? So if I have, say, string s2 as hello, okay, I have string s3 as hello as well. Okay, so I print in cmp is equal to s2 dot compared to s3. Okay, sys out, I'll print the value of cmp. Okay, and cmp will come out to be 0 because they are equal. Okay, cmp comes out to be 0. Okay, if s2 is larger than s3, that is s2 comes later in the dictionary, so you can say something greater than h, so we can say e f g h j k l m mellow. Okay, m comes after h, so the value of m is larger, so s2 is greater than s3, so you will get some positive value. Okay, similarly, if I take this as, say, something less than h, say bellow. Okay, now b comes before h, so this string is now smaller than this one, so you get some negative value. Okay, and if you actually want to know how to calculate this value, just subtract the ASCII values of h and b. Okay, so from b you have to go 6 places to reach h: b, c, d, e, f, g, h. 6 places, so that is why minus 6. So if I say j, say e, f, g, h, I, j, k, h, I, j, k, so you will get plus 3 now. Okay, because difference between k and h is 3. Okay, this is something in detail. If you want to know, let me know in the comments, I'll explain this. Okay, just remember, compared to, you will find compared to in many places. Compared to always returns an integer, integer 0 for equality, integer less than 0 if first object is smaller than second object, integer greater than 0 if first object is greater than second object. Moving on, we have the next part, which is part, this is 17. Oh, this is a typing error, there should be an extra x here, no worries. So in Java, statements in lowercase or uppercase are treated the same. This is false. Okay, this is correct, incorrect. Java is a case sensitive language. This is true. Okay, so the right output is going to be A is false and R is true. Okay, then read the following text, choose the correct answer. Okay, so basically class encapsulates data members and methods. So if you remember your definitions, you will be easily able to point this out. Okay, Moving on to part 19, which is assertion and reason. So assertion is call by value is known as pure method, and reason is original value does not change as operation performed is copied on values. Okay, so this is passed by value, this is okay. Okay, original value does not change because a copy is passed. I'm not very sure what they mean by pure method. A pure method is something which is just responsible for returning the same value for the same parameter, and I'm not sure how does this fit here, but this seems to be true to me as well. Okay, so this is correct and this is correct, so this should be the right option, but I'm not very sure about this one. Okay, but this should be the most appropriate answer in this. Okay, because neither of them seem false, so C and D is eliminated. Okay, all right. Then the next is character dot do to lowercase, this is going to be 1. Okay, so to lowercase method is a method in the character class which is the wrapper class for char. This converts the given character to lowercase, and if the character is a non-letter, like in this case it is a single digit one, it stays 1. So if you want to print, say, copy this out, character dot to lower case pass 1, you will just get 1 as the output. Okay, you pass some uppercase letter, you will get a lowercase corresponding letter h. You pass something non-letter, say 0 or say maybe question mark, you get the same character output. Okay, lowercase k, any lowercase letter will remain the same. Okay, so question 1 is done. Moving to question 2, write Java expression for p plus q whole square. So this is going to be a double d3 is going to be math dot pow p plus q whole square. So p plus q to the power 2. Okay, let's take p and q so that we don't get compilation errors. Double p is 3, double q is say 4. Okay, and they say write an expression, not a statement. So even if you write this part only, that's okay. This part is an expression, this entire thing is a statement. Okay, and they're asking you for an expression. Next part is question 2. So this was q2 1, and next part is going to be q2 2. Okay, so in the next part, evaluate this starting with a given value of x. Now this is a very standard question. So what we do is go from left to right, and we use these pre-increment and post-increment operators. So this will be basically, so x plus plus. So this is post-increment. So we use the value of x first. So x was 2, remains 2. So using 2 plus, but this is post-increment, x changes to 3. Okay, so 2 plus, now plus plus x. So x became 3 here. When you do plus plus x, it is incremented and then used. Okay, so this becomes 3 plus 1 4. This was 2 plus, so 2 plus 4 plus x, which is now 4. So 2 plus 4 plus 4, which is 10. Okay, so the answer for this should be 10. Okay, so let me just, x is, so okay, int x equal to 2, you say x is equals to x plus 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 x plus x, this is out, x is plus x, so this is going to be 10. Okay, all right, moving on. The following statements go to print, you can go out if you have done your homework and cleaned your room. However, the code has errors, fix the code so that it compiles and runs correctly. So these are two things. If you have done your homework and you can clean your room you can go out. So we have dh equal to 2. So the first thing I can point here is this should be lowercase. Okay, uppercase t should be lowercase t. This is okay. Okay, semicolon is there. There is a, the type name is correct. Okay, variable name is correct. Okay, dh is also correct. So if dh and cr, so if we have done your homework and cleaned your room, you need to print you can go out. So the print statements are reversed now. You should be printing you can go out in if. So if I take this entire thing, okay, and if I have to fix it here, so I say lowercase t, okay, else and you switch statements. Okay, and I believe you people know that if there is only one statement under if, it is counted as the body of if. So the opening and closing curly braces for if and else is optional here. Okay, so if this both is true, you can say you can go out, it will print you can go out. Okay, and even if you do this is going to print the same. Okay, if I make one of these false, I'll get you cannot go out. Okay, So this is done, this is done, this is done. Moving on, we have, yeah, Sam executes the following program segment and answer displayed is 0 irrespective of any 0 non-zero values. Name the error, how the program can be applied to correct answer. So when I look at the code, the clear problem is this. This here is integer division. Integer 1 is divided by integer 2. So whenever you divide integers, when numerator is less than the denominator, the output is always going to be 0. So basically this is 0 into b into h. So whatever be the values of b into h into 0, you always get 0. Okay, I'll show you. So if I have say int num is say 1, int den is say 2, I says out num by den. Okay, you get 0. Num by den, okay, so you always get 0. If I make this 10, if I make this just 11, okay, numerator is still greater than denominator, you get 0. Okay, because in integer division you only get the quotient. The quotient when 10 is divided by 11 is 0. Okay, so that's why whenever this, even if I make this 20 and make this 20 say 9, you get 0. Okay, so this is the fix that you need. So if I copy this, okay, I create a class here, say class ICSE 2024 specimen paper solved. Okay, okay, so if I have to create an object to call this method, so if I say this, okay, I say ICSE dot triangle, right? Whatever with the values I pass, it is always going to be 0 because we are doing integer division 1 by 2 here. So you get area 0. Okay, so in order to get the correct area, you have to change this to either 0.5. Okay, so now you will get the correct area as 6, or if you are doing 1 by 2, you have to make sure one of the numerator or denominator is a double value. So if I change numerator to 1.0, I get the right output. If I leave numerator to integer, make denominator as double, I still get the right value. If I make both of them double, still I'll get the right value. So one of the numerator or denominator has to be a double value, so that this is not an integer division and you don't get 0. Okay, now this is correct. Okay, there were no other errors in this code. Alright, so this is done. Moving on, how many times will the following loop execute? What value will be returned? So the first thing that you should be doing in such questions is not scribble a question paper. Write this code. These are just 5-6 lines of code. Write them properly on your paper so you can actually see these braces. So right now there is no indentation. Okay, but when I copy this and paste it here, so it is returning y. So I'm going to say void q2 question 2 part 5. Okay, right, and I'm going to add indentation. Okay, I'll make it int because it's returning y. Okay, looks much better now. Okay, and gives you a more visual idea of what the code is doing, right? So the question here is how many times will the loop execute and what value will be returned. So to count the number of times, okay, loop executed, okay, this is a little easier. How? In each iteration x has been incremented twice, plus plus x and x plus plus. Okay, don't think of the value y right now. So in each iteration x is incremented by 2 and this goes as long as x is less than or equal to 10, and this is a do while. So this will happen first and then the condition will be checked. Okay, so x starts with 2. Okay, loop runs, I'll say loop count is 0. So when the loop runs once, okay, x is incremented by 2, x becomes 4, loop count becomes 1. We go back here in do, x is again incremented by 2, x becomes 6, loop count becomes 2. Okay, in each iteration x is being incremented by 2. Now again this happens, x incremented by 2, x becomes 8. Okay, loop count becomes 3. Okay, one more loop count, again we go inside here, x becomes 10. Okay, loop count is now 4. Okay, so every time after this block is executed, right, you check for this condition. So for x equal to 4, after the first loop count this is true, after the second loop count true, third loop count true, and for the fourth loop count this is also true. 10 is less than or equal to 10 is true, so you have another loop count, x becomes 12, loop count is now 5. Okay, Now when you do 12 is less than equal to 10, so this is false and you come out. So the number of times loop runs is 5. Okay, so 5 will be the number of times loops execute. What value will be returned? So this basically is equal to y minus x plus plus. Okay, in each iteration. Okay, you can expand this as this. So let me just make these iterations separately. Okay, so in the first iteration plus plus x happens, x becomes 3. Okay, then you do y equal to y minus x plus plus. So y was 50, you do 50 minus x plus plus. X plus plus is post increment. So first you use the value of x and then increment. So the value of x is 3. Okay, and then you increment. So your y becomes 47 and x is 4. Okay, in your next iteration x plus plus. Okay, so x becomes 5 first, then you have y minus x plus plus. So y was 47 minus x plus plus, which is x is 5, using the value first and then incrementing. So y is 42 and x is 6. Okay, in the next same thing happens, x is incremented by 1 first, then you do 42 y minus x, which is 7. Okay, so y becomes 42 minus 7 is 35 and x becomes 8. Okay, in the next iteration same happens, x becomes 9, increments by 1 first, and then you do 35 minus 9. So y becomes 26 and x becomes 10. Okay, now x is 10. Okay, so x becomes 11 first, then you have y equal to y minus x, which is 15. So y is equal to 15 now and x is 12. Okay, and the loop breaks on x equal to 12. So y is 15 and x is 12. So the return value is y, which is 15. Okay, if you want we can check this as well. I'll say int loop count is 0, loop count plus plus for every iteration. Before we return the value, we do a loop count plus loop count. Okay, and here we call this sys out y equal to the return value from this q2 file. Okay, so we get loop count as 5 and y equal to 15, which is what we calculated here. Okay, so this question is done as well. Moving on, what is the output of the following methods? Dot index of. So dot index of method on a string takes a character and returns the first index where this character is found. So index 0, 1, 2, 3. So the return is going to be 3. Okay, then the next one is dog and puppy dot trim dot length. So dot trim method deletes the leading and trailing white spaces. I'll show you how. And dot length will return the length of the string. So 3 plus 3 plus 6 plus 5, 11, 12, 13. So this should be 13. So I'll say sys out dog and puppy dot trim dot length. Okay, this should give you 13. Okay, all right. And before this 13, we can do sys out artificial dot index of uppercase I. Okay, it should give you 3. So it gives you 3. Okay, so examples for trim, you can say string name is, so if I say my name is Pal Krishna. Okay, there are leading and trailing white spaces here. So if I say added 1 2 3 4 and 1 2, so 4 plus 2 spaces on the length of my name, which is 10. So this should give me, the length of this should give me 16. Okay, so I get, I'll just make it name length plus 16. Okay, so name length comes out to be 16. Now when I trim this, name equal to name dot trim. Okay, I lose all the leading and trailing white spaces. So the 6 white spaces that I added is gone and I will only get my name length, which is 10. So if you want to print the name as well, so you can say sys out name and plus name. Okay, I'll not add any space after colon. Similarly here. Okay, so name with spaces, after trim no spaces. Okay, So this is done as well. Okay, name any two jump statements. So you can write one of break, continue and return. Okay, one of break, continue and return. Predict the output of the following code snippet. So string A is 20, B is 23, P is integer of A, Q is integer of B, shift.out.print A plus B. Now this is confusing. This is not actually doing A into B. It is just printing A concatenated with a asterisk concatenated with a B. So output is going to be 20, then asterisk, and then B, which is 23. This is going to be our output. Okay, so let me run this. This is just a very cute way to trick you. Okay, where are we using P and Q? Here we are using P and Q. Comment this out. So you see P and Q are not used, yellow underlines. These are warnings, not used. Okay, they are simply printing A followed by asterisk followed by B. So 20 asterisk 23. 20 asterisk 23 is the output. Okay. So next is when there is no explicit initialization, what are the default values for variables of following cases? Integer variable and string variable. So string variable is going to be null. Okay. So string variable is null and not blank because string is a non-primitive type. So any non-primitive type by default has a null value. Okay. I'll show you how. I'm not very clear about this. So in my first reading, I would probably make it 0 because integer variables take 0. Okay. At times you might read too much into it and you might think this is the integer wrapper class, which by default should be null. But I'm going to put 0 here. Okay. Because for integer variable, I'm assuming it is int type. Okay. So if you take say string s5 and you print s5, okay, it won't print right away because s5 is not initialized. So you cannot check default values like this. So to check default value, you say I will in a class string s string, okay, and I will also take int I. Okay, so when you create an object of this class, they get default values because you are not providing a constructor that sets these values. Okay, so now when I print, okay, sys out default value of string will be this object name and the string variable. Okay, so this is going to give you null. Oh, let me just do sys out here. So you get null here. Okay, correct. Default value provided by the default constructor. For integers, it is 0. Default value of int. Okay. Okay. I will take an integer I2. Default value of integer. This is for string. This is for I2. Okay. This should be null as well. Okay. Because integer is also a non-primitive type. The only confusion here is I'm not sure that they mean the default value of int type or this integer wrapper class type. But if I was there in your place, I would probably mark it as a 0. Okay, int variable. Okay, I mean you can be over smart and you can put both the answers there just to clarify the exam. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do. I mean, I got 100 in my computer applications paper in my 10th standard. It's been some time, but I mean, I guess you have to be very smart about this here. Anyways, okay. So moving on, this is done. I guess you are left with one more question. Yeah, question number 10. Int p and int q. Place all elements of p array and q array one after the other. Now this is not very clear, but okay. What will be the size of array r? Okay. So whatever be the order of elements in R that you take from P and Q, the total number of elements in R is going to be the sum of elements of P and Q. So 4 elements plus 3 elements, the size of R is going to be 7. I guess size of R or length of R. Size of R, right? I am assuming the number of elements in R. Okay, again I got confused. This should be the number of elements in R. Right, index position of the first and last element. So first element for any array is 0. Last element index position is always length minus 1, which is 7 minus 1, 6. Okay, I guess they are asking the length only and not the actual size in terms of bytes. Okay, it should be length only. I'm overthinking about this, I guess. So this was the solution to question 1 and question 2. Question 1 had 20 parts, question 2 had 10 parts. Question 3 onwards is already solved. Each question is solved in a separate video. The links to those videos I will add in the description of this video. The links for these codes, question 3 to question 8, I will also add in the description of this video. Alright, so please check it out, and I will also be solving this solution in Hindi as well, because a lot of my students in the comments request this to be solved in Hindi. Alright, so please do check the links in the description, right? They are very helpful, and please let me know in the comments if there was anything not clear to you in this video, right? Or you still have any doubts, or if there is a question that I actually marked wrong, right? So please let me know. So please like, subscribe and share, and also please share your thoughts on this video. Thank you.